A job interview is supposed to be the start of something good. For these 6 people, it becomes the reason they never make it home. Here are the horror movies where taking a new job turns into an absolute nightmare.
Follow me.
What do I have to do?
Yeah, we prefer if Rat was not to die tonight.
The Boy. William Brent Bell's 2016 film centers on Greta Evans, a young American from Montana who takes a nanny job with the Heelshire family in the English countryside to escape her abusive boyfriend Cole, whose violence recently caused her to miscarry. Greta arrives at the family's isolated mansion, expecting to care for a child named Brahms, but the elderly Heelshires, her new employers, present her instead with a porcelain doll they insist is their living son. The real Brahms died in a house fire in 1991 at 8 years old, though his parents refused to accept this and treat the doll as though he survived. Before leaving for a holiday, the Heelshires hand Greta a list of strict rules, including speaking loudly to Brahms, playing music for him, leaving food out, and setting rat traps around the house. Greta initially treats the doll as a prop, but small, unexplained events unsettle her, from moved objects to sounds behind the walls. She grows close to Malcolm, a local delivery man who tells her the real Brahms was rumored to have killed a childhood friend, Emily Cripps, before the fire that killed him. Meanwhile, Cole tracks down Greta's location and travels to the mansion to bring her back. Once there, Cole destroys the porcelain doll, and the house begins to shake around them. A mirror shatters, and a grown man wearing a doll face mask crawls out of the wall cavity behind it and kills Cole. This is Brahms himself, alive and hidden inside the house for decades, using the doll and a childlike voice to manipulate his parents and Greta from behind the walls. Greta lures him into bed with a goodnight kiss, then drives a screwdriver into him and flees with Malcolm. The final shot shows someone gluing the broken porcelain pieces back together, confirming Brahms survives. Creep. Patrick Brice's 2014 film, which follows freelance videographer Aaron, opens as he answers a Craigslist ad offering $1,000 for a single day of filming work. He drives to a secluded cabin in the mountains and meets Joseph, a strange but seemingly friendly man who says he has an inoperable brain tumor and only months to live. Joseph explains that he wants Aaron to film a video diary for his unborn son, whom he has nicknamed Buddy, since his pregnant wife Angela will give birth after he expects to die. As the day continues, Joseph's behavior grows increasingly unsettling. He stages a long bath scene, pretending his unborn child is with him in the tub, and later produces a wolf mask he calls Peach Fuzz, claiming his father gave it to him as a child.
Peach Fuzz. That's just Peach Fuzz. Say hello.
Joseph also admits he secretly photographed and followed Aaron before their meeting, which Aaron reluctantly forgives. That night, over drinks, Joseph reveals the true story behind the mask. He once discovered his wife searching disturbing content online, and to confirm his suspicion, he lied about being away for work. He then broke into his own home wearing the mask and assaulted her. Unsettled, Aaron tries to leave but cannot find his car keys, so a tense standoff follows before he escapes. In the weeks after, Joseph stalks Aaron by mail, sending strange packages, including footage of himself digging a grave. He eventually sends a final video offering to meet Aaron in broad daylight at Lake Gregory to make amends. Aaron agrees, but wears a hidden camera and sets his phone to automatically dial police as a precaution. While Aaron waits alone on a park bench, Joseph approaches from behind and kills him with an axe. Afterward, Joseph reviews the footage and notices Aaron never turns around as Joseph closes in on him. Because Aaron trusted him enough not to look back, Joseph declares him his favorite victim. American Mary. The Soska sisters' 2012 film centers on Mary Mason, a gifted medical student who is barely covering her bills. She interviews for a waitressing job at a strip club run by Billy Barker. Before the interview even wraps up, Billy leads her to the basement and offers her $5,000 to save the life of a man who has been tortured there. Mary is horrified by what she sees, but she needs the money, so she performs him. Days later, Beatrice, a stripper who has surgically altered herself to resemble Betty Boop, approaches Mary with an offer. Beatrice wants Mary to perform an extreme procedure on her friend Ruby, altering her most intimate anatomy so she can look and function like a living doll. Mary hesitates, but she agrees. Word spreads through the underground body modification community, and soon Mary is taking on stranger requests, including a pair of twin sisters from Berlin who want their arms surgically swapped and horns implanted in their skulls. During her hospital residency, Mary is invited to a party hosted by fellow surgeons. There, her former teacher, Dr. Alan Grant, drugs and assaults her, recording the attack as it happens. Mary drops out of her residency soon after. In retaliation, she hires Billy's enforcers to kidnap Grant, and she keeps him prisoner in her apartment, using his body as practice material for her surgical work over the following weeks. A security guard discovers Grant while Mary is torturing him, so she kills the guard to protect what she has built. A police detective named Dolor begins investigating Grant's disappearance and suspects Mary may be connected to it. Ruby's husband, furious over what happened to his wife, tracks down Mary's location and ambushes her at home with a knife. He stabs her, but Mary kills him in the struggle that follows. Badly wounded, she tries to suture the injury herself. She bleeds out before finishing the stitch. Last shift. Anthony de Blasi's 2014 film introduces Jessica Lauren, a rookie police officer starting her very first assignment. She is ordered to take the last overnight shift at an old station before it closes for good the following day. Her mother begs her not to take the job. Jessica's father, also a police officer, was killed in the line of duty years earlier, and her mother fears history repeating itself. Jessica reassures her and reports for duty anyway. Her commanding officer, Sergeant Cohen, gives her a brief tour of the empty building, explains that a hazmat crew will arrive later to collect old evidence, and orders her not to leave her post. Then he leaves her alone for the night. Not long after, a knock echoes through the station. Jessica finds a homeless man in the hallway, urinating on the floor and refusing to leave. She forces him out, but he vanishes without explanation. As the hours pass, Jessica learns that the station was the site of a mass suicide exactly 1 year earlier, carried out by a cult leader named John Michael Payman and 2 of his followers. The deeper she digs, the more the building seems to turn against her. She tries to escape through the front doors, but the glass will not break, even when she fires her gun directly at it. Her dead father then calls her phone. He demands justice for his own death and warns her that cult members are breaking into the station to attack her. Jessica draws her weapon and shoots 3 figures she believes are the intruders. As she fires the final shot, Sergeant Cohen returns and shoots her from behind. In a sudden moment of clarity, Jessica realizes the 3 people she just killed were the hazmat crew, not cultists at all. Cohen calls for medical help as Jessica lies bleeding on the floor, and the spirits of Paimon and his followers gather around her, watching in silence as she dies. 8. The Soul Collector. Harold Holscher's 2019 film follows William Zeal, a man who moves his wife Sarah and their adopted daughter Mary back to his late father's remote farm after losing everything to bankruptcy. Not long after they settle in, an old man named Lazarus shows up at the property and tells them he cared for William's father in his final days. Sarah does not trust him. The nearby village goes further than distrust. Their shaman, Obara, warns William outright that Lazarus has stolen souls from their people before. William needs the extra hands more than he needs the warning, so he hires Lazarus anyway and sets him up with a room in the shed. Lazarus quickly grows close to Mary, who has also experienced deep loss, and the 2 form a paternal bond. What William and Sarah do not know is that Lazarus carries a demon named Uthuli, sealed inside a sack he never sets down. His own daughter, Vuyiswa, died years before, and he could not accept it. He tried to bring her back through dark magic, but the ritual did not work the way he wanted. It bound him to Uthuli instead, and now he has to keep finding souls to feed the demon. His growing bond with Mary is not innocent. He has been sent by the demon to claim her soul next. Lazarus performs a ritual that traps a villager's soul inside a moth, and Uthuli consumes it without hesitation. The demon later slips into the farmhouse at night and tries to suffocate Sarah while she bathes alone. She survives, and afterward, she is convinced something is deeply wrong with the man her husband hired. Mary keeps drifting closer to the spirit realm under the demon's influence, so Obara and the villagers move to intervene before it is too late. Lazarus finally turns against the demon he has served for years, destroying Uthuli and himself together in a ritual fire and freeing the souls trapped inside the sack. Mary, who had wandered into the spirit world during the ritual, chooses to return home to her family. Hotel. Jessica Hausner's 2004 film follows Irene, a young woman who takes a job as receptionist at Waldhaus, a hotel tucked into the Austrian Alps. Since she is not local, the hotel gives her room and board on the premises as part of her pay. On her first day, she learns her nightly duties, which include checking the basement storage and locking the access door before she leaves. Her coworker Petra tells her that the previous receptionist, a woman named Eva, disappeared without explanation, though Petra assumes Eva simply ran off with a boyfriend. Irene begins dating Eric, a local artist. He takes her to a cave in the surrounding forest tied to local legend about the Lady of the Woods, a woman lynched centuries earlier for witchcraft. According to the story, a group of hikers vanished near the same cave in 1962. Irene brushes the legend off as folklore. Meanwhile, tension builds inside the hotel itself. When her cross necklace goes missing, Irene accuses a co-worker, possibly Petra, in front of her boss, Mrs. Mashek. A staff meeting follows, and Irene becomes an outsider among the staff, even after the necklace turns up again. After Irene brings Eric into the hotel one night, Mrs. Mashek reprimands her for breaking the rules on guests. While apologizing to Mrs. Liebig, a woman who has worked at the hotel for years, Irene asks what really happened to Eva. Mrs. Liebig only tells her to leave the hotel, then turns away to pray the rosary. Shaken, Irene requests the weekend off. Petra agrees to cover her shift, but only if Irene lends her the cross necklace, and Irene, desperate to get away and see her parents, hands it over. On the night she is finally set to leave for good, Irene finishes her last round of duties, including the basement check. While locking the access door, she accidentally shuts herself outside the building. After a moment of hesitation, she walks into the dark tree line surrounding the hotel. Her screams carry back through the woods moments later. That's the list. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe and hit like, and stick around. More horror breakdowns are coming soon.